Welcome back, everybody, to some Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel. We are back and ready to go. On to our field study. Headed to Heimdall today. Alright. Into the train station. How's everybody doing? We are indeed. I would assume we're all taking the same train. Yeah, it's only a 30-minute train ride, so should be a quick trip. Let's chat with the other team here, or group. We're not really teams, like we're not against each other, so to speak, but forgets that I'm the one who goes out and brings home the mirror. Oh yeah, this is Emil's father. So he's kind of bitter about the fact that he's the one going out working, getting the money and all that to support the family, and she's bitter about the fact that he doesn't do enough at home, which is a pretty classic issue. Very core of the country geographically and politically. Yeah, it's like dead center of the country too, which is kind of odd, all things considered. But, you know, sometimes it happens that way. I mean, if you want to learn about the Empire, I imagine the capital city is probably not a bad place to be. I'm gonna brace ourselves. Alright, guys. I decided to send us straight to Heimdall. Considering the size of the city, I can see our task being especially bothersome this time. How so? Oh, just attacking Machias because he has the chance. Hey, Emma. I'll chat with Fee. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if something comes up, maybe we'll have like joint tasks or things that require both teams to, you know, interact with one another or each do like half of a job. That'd be cool. It'd be really awesome if they had implemented this in such a way where you had to like swap between the two teams in a I think it was Final Fantasy VI that did that in the final dungeon area. There's a couple games that have done that before, but it'd be interesting to have like two split teams. Okay, so Emma's trying to, you know, balance between the two, but it's a little limited in what you can get done because they just don't really communicate that well. Get in touch if anything happens. Thanks, Elisa. She's worried about us, I can tell. This is our map. We've actually been to a lot of the places here. We haven't been to Ruhr or Legram, but we've been to Bereahard, Keldic, Trista. We're headed to Heimdall, and we went north of Zender Gate, so definitely exploring a lot of this map. Although I do find it somewhat interesting, because this is clearly not a map of all of Erebonia. Why is it just this region? Is this like a specific place? I'd just be interested to know what this map is supposed to be, like, what the bounds are supposed to be of it. I guess maybe it's every location that this station sends a train to, maybe? We are indeed. 5 tickets. We'll be ready. We're looking forward to it. I was going to say, we got 2 veterans of the event, so I'm still really interested to know how much these train tickets cost. So many footstep sound effects. Oh, we're right on time. I mean, yeah, if going to and from the capital is obviously a work commute sort of thing, and it sounds like it's kind of an all-day whenever you want sort of thing. So a lot of people have been there before. Oh, Reen's been to Heimdall before. That's interesting. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be fine. Plus, the city must be used to tourists and all that, right? Especially with the event going on. There's probably a bunch of ways to get information and how to get around. Alright. Heimdall, among many other things, is the capital of this country. Fair, fair. It's a good place to start, which means it's the home of the reigning emperor, His Majesty Eugent Rhys Arnor III. Okay. Well, now we know the emperor's name, at least. It's probably come up before, but... we need useful local knowledge, not a recitation of the travel brochure. Bah. 16 main districts. Okay, it's about as large as a whole town in any of the Empire's provinces. Okay, so this is like absurdly larger than anywhere else we've been. All in all, the city's population hovers around 800,000 people. That's not actually that many. Given the time period, it makes sense. Like, there weren't that many, like, multi-million population cities, but it kind of puts into context what the population of Erebonia must be if the capital city only has less than 1 million people in it. It's one of the continent's largest cities. So it's one of the largest cities in the continent. Okay. Crossbell is known for a thriving center of trade, but its population is only around... so it's even bigger than Crossbell. Okay. So Crossbell is a big trade center, but is, you know, like 2/3 the size. Liberal's capital has about 300,000 people. The Republic's capital is pretty big too, but I don't think it's quite as big as Heimdall. Okay. That's fair. Good to know that there's like... we have like a general concept of like population amounts. It's certainly possible that each of those countries has like a less centralized population, but it tells us a lot. Hardly hazard a guess. Oh. Yeah, we'll have to figure out who gave us our task, or is going to give us our tasks when we get there. Maybe we'll end up staying at Elliot or Machias' home. Oh. Elliot's house isn't that big. That's unfortunate, but, I mean, that's fine. Is Machias' house big? Most of the time in his official residence, so I doubt anyone's going to be at my family's. Oh, so he has like a governor's home versus his actual house. She's being cryptic and all that. I'm sure she's going to be in town. There's no way she's going to stay away from Heimdall. Oh, we have cards to play. Let's save here. Alright, what do you got to say, Elliot? Elliot, I hate to break this to you, my dude, but it's not a coincidence. I mean, come on now. It's the music that Elliot's into. Got it. It's gonna be a roll of the dice whether or not we're close enough. Well, it must be like a public transit. We must be able to get around. I'm sure in 3 days that we'll be there, or 2 days that we'll be there, we could stop by his house at some point. I guess. I mean, it's something to bring up, obviously, to keep on task, but it's one of those things with our field studies whenever we go on them that it's all about. It's kind of like trying to imply to us all the time that it's sort of a cultural exchange, right? It's trying to taste all the flavors of the Empire, if you will, like moving around and getting to know everywhere. And enjoying the festival is probably a part of that. But at the same time, it's probably a good idea to keep in mind we're here for some amount of professionalism. St. Estria's Girls' School is in the capital, correct? If I'm not mistaken, that's where your sister attends. It is, yes. I mean, if we get a chance, sure. It would be a little awkward to show up now. I suppose it does stand to reason that even siblings would worry about such a social faux pas, I guess. And Laura's an only child. I think we knew that already, but that's good to know, if we didn't. Yeah, Laura does have the big sister kind of calmness about her. Ah, okay. Girls' academies sure sound like interesting places. Yeah, there's some tension in that sort of relationship occasionally. Doesn't get corrupted by her environment. You know, Reen, I don't think you have anything to worry about, but at the same time, I think it'll be hilarious. So... Laura taking another stab at Reen's inability to, like, put himself first. Alright. Perhaps much of this could have been avoided if I were more like you. Interesting. What is that supposed to mean? If only I could do something to help them. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. That's what we do. Bring people together. We certainly won't be staying at my house, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of our tasks sent us there. I guess it's certainly possible. He'd have to be governing. Yeah. So he's the governor of just the city? I guess it's like a metropolitan area. Like the greater Heimdall, like, region, if you will. Unless it's just specifically the city, but it's weird to have a governor and not, like, a mayor. And yeah, the festival's probably got him pretty overworked, so... makes sense. Oh. Yeah, I mean, it certainly stands to reason that some of our requests might have to do with helping out with the festival or some other capacity with the city. And yeah, let Elliot and Machias take the lead. At least in terms of city navigation, we'll be able to show you. Yeah, but I mean, it's your time to shine. Go be the leaders. Do you enjoy traveling? Somewhat, huh? I mean, that makes sense. Traveled in airships and boats, too. But sometimes we were stowed away in cargo holds, so we couldn't see anything. Oh. That's a little... like... It characterizes what Fee went through, right? Because she doesn't really give, like, a clear account very often of any of the things that happened while she was part of the Jaeger Corps. Instead, you just kind of get glimpses here, but, like, it explains she used all kinds of different transportation means. And certain instances, they were just cargo, which is kind of, you know... I'd be interested to see how often that was the case versus another form of transportation. No, it's nothing. We're just, you know, doing the leadership thing. All right, everybody.
Go easy on me, okay?
Never, Elliot. You're going down. Let's play some Blade. Got some 7s in there. That's
Okay,
not bad.
then, let's draw. Looks like you're up first.
Dang it. Okay. Let's open up with Mirror.
Really? You're playing that now? Bolt!
Ow.
Bolt!
Really? Okay.
The same score means we draw again, right?
Really, Elliot? Really?
The same score means we draw again, right? Well, looks like I'm up first.
Okay, so I'm up by
Mirror.
4. He mirrors it. That's fine. Let's mirror again.
Really? You're playing that now?
Let's see what he's got. He puts down the 7. Or puts down the 6, rather. That gets him that lead. That gets me my 2 out. There's 3.
The same score
come
means
on.
we draw again, right?
Elliot,
Well,
why?
looks like I'm up first.
Alright, whatever. I
The
win
same
here.
score means we draw again, right?
There's no way I lose
Looks
now.
like
He's
you're
out
up
of
first.
cards.
The same score means we draw again, right?
Holy. What is...
The same score means we draw again, right? Oh, I'm lost.
I cannot... What... Is Elliot, like, programmed to just be as frustratingly annoying by just, like,
Let us begin our duel.
matching the numbers over and over again? Okay, what are we working with here? It does not look like I have a
Please
very
draw a
good
card.
hand. I don't.
Then I'll make the first move.
Starting up 6 is not
Divine
bad.
Bolt.
Okay, well, nix that plan. Drop a 2. See what happens. Okay, it's a difference of 3. I don't really want to be bolting a 4, so let's just mirror.
I didn't expect that. Mirror.
Mirror again. All right, cool. Just take the lead. That'll work. Difference of 2. Let's mirror it and
I
see what she
didn't
does.
expect that.
Okay, we'll bolt the 5.
Well played.
We'll bolt the 5 again.
Well played.
There's my concern. Okay, let's do that. Perfect. So she puts down the 2. What does she have back there is the real problem I have right now.
An excellent duel.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I can't win on... I'm dumb. For some reason, my brain, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can't keep this bolt and win with it. But
I'm not going to
I did it anyway because I'm dumb. But it's fine. Oh, this is not a good hand.
Well,
Oh,
then,
this-
go ahead and draw.
this
I'll go
is-
first then.
Okay. Alright, well, it's all numbers from here.
Mirror. Bolt. Bolt. Bolt.
There's really not much else for me to do here. Oh my goodness, the bolts.
Ah, crap. Bolt.
What? Why does he have so many? Alright, I win.
It's mostly luck anyway.
You know, Machias, you're not that wrong. It is. I'm not actually sure in Blade how much of this really has anything to do with me. Oh, Fee is into it. I love it. Alright, this is another numbers
You draw
heavy.
here, right? You're first, I guess.
Oh no, I am behind. Okay, let's mirror it right from the get-go.
Take this.
Alright, that'll work too.
Guess we'd better draw again.
Really, Fee?
I'm first.
Okay.
Take this. Mirror.
I'll deal with that.
Guess I lost.
What? That's it? Oh, she has 1s and 2s left? Oh no. Alright, we won. We did alright. Played some Blade. Had a good time. That's gonna be it for that. 820. So is it like a 750 train? Heimdall. This semi-express line is bound for Heimdall. Our next stop is Heimdall, the terminus of this express line. Please ensure that all your belongings... Yep, that's fine. Doesn't feel as though our train ride was all that long. Yeah, it's pretty close. No, that is interesting now that I think about it. We could have just gone home. Not that Thor's appears to be, like, lacking for funds, but it would have been more cost-effective, I would imagine, to have just stayed at the dorms at night. But it's become quite clear that Thor's has functionally infinite resources as far as money goes. Like, it never comes up that they, like, have an issue with buying or spending money on anything.
exactly on time.
Oh no. I think I remember this voice. Does she have blue hair? She does.
Wait, what?
Hey.
Hear that?
You're from the Railway Military Police, if memory serves me correctly.
You're Captain Claire, was it?
Captain Claire.
That's right. I'm glad you remember me.
I think she's called the Icy Maiden, but it sounds like the kind of name you wouldn't want to say to her.
I believe it's been about 3 months since we last met.
It has been a while.
So, this must be the woman the group who went to Keldic encountered.
Yeah, I guess who would have been there? It was Laura, Reen, Elliot, and Elisa?
So this is an officer from the fearsome RMP?
Since you're here, does that mean you're going to be the one assigning our tasks for this month's field study?
That could be interesting.
No, I'm just here to provide a place for you to talk with the person who is.
Oh, okay.
He should be here any moment now. Ah, here he comes.
Why did she need to be here?
Perfect timing.
Oh.
No way.
Oh, okay. She's like a security for Mr. Regnitz here.
Dad?
I like that he just calls him Dad, right? It's not like father or anything like super formal. It's just Dad. It like informs or sort of says a lot about the commoner perspective because the way they talk about people is different.
I've seen him in the Imperial Chronicle before.
Like word choice is different if you're a noble versus a commoner. So the fact that he says Dad and not like father like Uzis does is a nice like juxtaposition.
Governor Regnitz, one of the reformists' most influential voices.
So this is Machias's father.
This is the first time I've met most of you, so let me introduce myself.
What is his full name?
I'm Carl Regnitz,
Oh, yeah, Carl.
Machias's father.
Carl. This is a buddy of mine who we call Carl.
I'm the governor of Heimdall and head of the local government.
The governor of Heimdall and head of local government. So, like, that must be a regional thing, then.
It's a pleasure to finally meet you, ladies and gentlemen of Class 7.
He's a very well-spoken individual. I actually really like the voice. I think it fits quite well. Wait, it's been like a half an hour? Oh. The RMP has like an office? Oh. This is a fancy looking place. Railway Military Police Command Post Briefing Room. Oh. I guess that would make sense. They're the Railway Military Police. This is the main station of Heimdall. This would be the place that they would headquarters more than likely, actually. Would prefer to brief you in City Hall. Short on time to ask the captain here to lend us a room. I can understand that. So he reached out to her to get a room so that he could have this little briefing here. And this was the most on-the-way location since this is right in the train station. And he probably is really busy, so... Assignments and lodgings. What is it, Machias? How did you end up... Yeah, I was going to say, why wouldn't somebody else do this who's less, like, tied up right now? Like, we know for a fact that he's way busy with this big summer festival event. Why would it... Obviously, it could be just because he wanted to help out his son and do, like, that sort of thing, but... How did you wind up as our point of contact? Ah, conveniently, another one of these kids' parents is on the board of directors. So, from the outside looking in, you have this special class that goes on all these field trips and does all this stuff, and a bunch of the people who operate that, who like headed that and were part of the school's board of directors, all their kids end up in that class. Obviously, it's fun from a story perspective, but if you were somebody on the outside looking at that, you'd be like, this is pure nepotism at this point. Because at this point, Uzis, Elisa, and Machias all have parents who sit on the board of directors for the school. Yeah, see, there you go. Like, so many of them. It stretches the bounds of imagination to believe the Academy's choice of directors is mere coincidence. Yeah, there's clearly some intent here. Oh, okay. Whatever you say. I mean, that I would actually probably believe him because it doesn't make sense that those three would really work together necessarily. Not like Elisa's mom really has a affiliation necessarily. Like, we don't know if she picks a side, but Eustace's brother and Machias's father are on very different sides of the political spectrum. You wouldn't think they would be doing this, like, be doing anything to necessarily work together. So the Academy offered the position to them. That's interesting. There's some kind of secret reason. It reads like right now is a good time to try and dig for this info. Yeah, there's no way he was going to tell us. Okay, well, I mean, that makes sense for why you would be tapped to do it. Okay. Field study will take place over 3 days. Got it. Of which this is the first. As such, the third day will coincide with the start of the summer festival. Yep, we knew that. Each group will be assigned half of the city and 10 to the list of needs I've drawn up for you. So like, do we just split the city in half, east and west, or eastern half the other group? Oh, I was right. That was 50-50, right? It could have been north-south, but fair enough. Both groups will revolve around the entire city. We'd have trouble getting anything done. As such, I've broken it down. So all groups A's tasks cover the area east of Vancure. Vancure? It's another one of those where I'm pretty sure it's a French word, and it'd be cure? Well, because there's no E after the R, so, like, I don't know if you would pronounce the R. Well, group B's task is going to be focused on everything west. Okay, so we're the east side. Got it. It's the main thoroughfare that runs the city, leading to the Imperial Palace. So that's the road. Okay, so we did see, like, the statue and then the city, the palace. The palace, I would assume, is dead center of the city. So if that's the case, then there's this big road that runs straight down the center of the city, north-south. As soon as you leave the station, you'll see it stretching out to the north. It's hardly a precise division, but for the purpose of the field study, it should be more than sufficient. Okay, so the city is not, like, symmetrical, which makes sense, right? That if it's, like, hundreds and hundreds of year-old city, it probably wasn't planned to be built perfectly. The envelope looks like the ones we usually get for our field study itinerary. But we get an address and a key. Okay. Alto Street, 43221. Vesta Street, 527, 126. It's kind of interesting, actually. We get to see what the addresses look like in the city. I wonder how that's denoted. Because I would assume, like, 4 and the 5 are probably district numbers. And then the rest of these, this is like a postal or a zip code, maybe? And it's conveniently right near where Elliot lives. Okay. Can't say the address brings any particular place in mind, though. Being a main street on the west side of the city. Got it. The address of the places you'll be staying while you're here, along with their keys. Both groups will be staying in different places, so I suggest tracking down your lodgings before you start work. Yep, it's pretty normal. We need to know where we're headed. Think of it as a small orienteering exercise. Yeah, I love orienteering. Look, hopefully this one doesn't involve a scary gargoyle demon at the end. Yeah, definitely. But we don't want to take up any more of his time than we have to. The communication functionality of the Arcus has been enabled in the city. Would it normally have been disabled? Weird. I'm also kind of interested for the Arcus units. Do they communicate via like a central tower, like a cell phone, or do they like ad hoc? Do they just connect directly to one another? Because we don't really know how Orbital like radio works. I would assume it works like regular radio, obviously, but the issue with the Arcus is, are they a radio or are they a cell phone? Because we know that you specifically call another person, and if that's the case, where's the infrastructure for that, like, communication system? Because cell phones don't just communicate directly to one another, right? They bounce off of a tower and then back. I was expecting him to see a lot more strict, but he actually seems more playful. Yeah, he does seem like a pretty relaxed dude. He's always been like that. At least he manages to fulfill his responsibilities as governor somehow. Nah, I don't think of him like that. He's a nice enough dude. Extremely good at his job. Got it. Coming from the background he does. He's friendly, down to earth, but people say he's a born leader too. Ah. Bus heads the noble faction far less than his fellow reformist Chancellor Osborne. So he's a bit more tempered. Got it. Osborne does seem like maybe a vocal individual, if from what we've like seen described in the couple scenes we've seen him. Where Machias' father seems like maybe he tries to take some of that reformist stuff and is a bit softer, a soft touch, I guess would be the way to describe it. A friendly demeanor can just as easily be an act to sway popular sentiment. It can be, but it doesn't. At the end of the day, even if it's an act, the fact that he is potentially doing things maybe slower, a bit smoother, the result is more important. And borrow me. After all, there aren't many people who can waltz in and borrow meeting space from the RMP. It is interesting, though. He shows up here and it's like, this is a pretty important military organization, and he's just like, look, I'm taking your briefing room. Railway military finds itself indebted daily to government Magnus's good graces. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. At the end of the day, this station, probably all the infrastructure around the city and this region, which is probably the central hub of all the trains in the country, is pretty reliant on his legislature and like budgeting. So because they're kind of beholden to him, right? They can't operate unless the trains are taken care of effectively, and I imagine they probably have a pretty significant demand for maintenance and upgrades that he would have to be the one to get approval to do. Oh, I love this music. I love it so much. It's so good. Here we are, Heimdall. Alright, so there are some taller buildings here. But like I was saying, it's only like 4, maybe 5 stories tall. Like, you wouldn't think these buildings would necessarily have elevators in them, right? Like, they're not huge. Oh, Fee doesn't like crowds. Got it. Oh, they have a nice little tram cars. That's nice. And there are a lot of cars around, like actual cars just driving around, which we did hear about. They had a bunch of accidents, so they had to pass like different legislature for it, but it's kind of interesting. And these are the main form of public transit. Okay. Well, I mean, there wouldn't be like a subway system, right? So this has got to be the way to do it. And they don't have... I guess you would think they'd have like L's or something, like elevated trains, but... Oh, so they're an icon. Yeah, I imagine that would be like a tourist thing, the little tram cars. Oh, and it's cheap, okay. And you can buy a yearly pass. Interesting. All that, and so many orbital cars on the road, too. That would be the Valflame Palace, residence of His Majesty the Emperor. You can... She's a biggin'. You can see it way in the distance. From what I understand, Chancellor Osborne's imperial government is also situated within. Okay, so the Chancellor's office and his government also operates from the palace. Thank you, Claire. Looking forward to running into her again. She doesn't seem like an army officer, does she? Most elite divisions, not to mention one of the branches most despised by the aristocracy. Yeah, because they use their blanket authority to protect the railway to do a lot of things that... A lot of things in regions where the centralized government probably wouldn't be able to step in, which we've benefited from when we were in Celtic, but as a railway, you can virtually guarantee they'll use it as an excuse to meddle in security affairs. Yeah. Judging by the actions during our encounter at the nature park, they did seem exceptionally well trained. Yeah, even with the same number of soldiers, they had no trouble rolling over the provincial army. Yeah, I mean, they appear to be like a pretty significant special forces operation, so it's tough, especially for like the decentralized like regional governments, I imagine, because their pool of soldiers to pull from and like their equipment budgets are probably much less. So elegant and pretty. I mean, we hear all the time that she's super attractive, and like the depiction of her is meant to give that form. But with anime characters, it's kind of hard to tell how attractive somebody's supposed to be unless they say. She looks good in a uniform. Some people have all the luck. It's like she's everything Sarah isn't. I mean, they're both attractive, at least. The two have a little more history between them. We ought to get moving. Yeah, we'll be able to hop on a tram to where our lodgings are and then find the addresses given. Okay. Long 3 days. Good luck, team. And so we split. Eastbound Orbital tram will depart momentarily. All of you wishing to board, please do so. Wait, don't we need to pay? Do we hop on and then pay? I guess this must be a freebie because of the cutscene. Vancure Street. Oh, so we're just kind of rolling through the town, getting to see some things. Oh. You get to see the interior. That's pretty nice. I'm always surprised to see how big the street is. Really? Nothing special. Special to those who've lived here all their lives. Yeah, once you've been in a big city, it becomes very mundane. But if you've never been there before, it's quite the spectacle the first time. Even though in my home province, people are depending on less and less on horse-drawn carriages. Oh, yeah, cars and trucks. Until about 20 years ago. So that's what I mean. Like, the tech has changed so fast for them that there's certain things that are super, like, hyper advanced. Like, they've reached, like, modern day almost. And then other things that are just have been left by the wayside because of how fast all this has changed for them. The Republic capital also has a lot of cars. Okay. But Crossbell has the most. So Crossbell, because they mentioned that it's like a big trade hub, I imagine they probably see... And since they're like a neutral party in between the Empire and Calvard, I imagine they get some benefit from both sides. That would probably make them advance a little faster than everybody else. Eager work takes you places. What's Alto Street like? Where we'll be staying? Yeah, should be near Elliot's house. It's a pretty calm street. We should be taking it right here. Whoosh. Yeah, you can definitely see a lot of how this city was very old. Because there's all these like old like aqueducts and stone buildings and all that. It has just such a classical feel to it. Étoile. Étoile? 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 Isn't that like star or something like that? I don't really find myself near Alto Street all that often. Looks like you live in a nice part of the city, though. Oh, okay. You live around here. Why don't we drop by your house first? Yeah, I mean, we got all kinds of time, so... Even Fee wants to see his house. Aw, yeah. I doubt my dad will be in. Not sure if Sis will be either. Okay, so its sister will be home. There's an older sister. I love how he's like, oh, we shouldn't visit. His house is literally like 100 yards away. It's like, you could see it. That's hilarious to me. Oh, we shouldn't just walk, 30 paces over here to go stop by my home. Alright, we got some people to talk to, but I gotta be right back, everybody. Give me just a moment. The stream's gonna cut out for a little bit.